What do you do after a big run? You take a rest. What's going on, everybody? Jeremy Ritz here from Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading. And today the market's taking a breather after that ferocious rally on Friday when we saw the SPX be up over 100 points. Closed up 96 points there on Friday. And at the time that I'm recording this, the broader market's down about 12 points. Not crazy, and that's really not a significant dip, being that we just ran as hard as we did. And there are individual tickers out there that are still doing well, that are still green. If you look at big tech, NVDA pumping today ahead of its earnings report on Wednesday. Tesla pumping today. Netflix pumping today. So there's still plenty of green out there, even though the broader markets are down. The SPX is down, but that was to be expected. It didn't happen quite the way that I thought. I talked about in the market preview yesterday that I thought that there would be a gap up and then it would fade down. But what we got today was a drop at open. It got bought up, and we've just kind of been chopping a little bit today. And that makes complete sense, because with the big data on tap this week, GDP, PCE, and NVIDIA earnings, there is going to be some caution heading into this information. And so when you look at it, NVIDIA earnings is going to be Wednesday. That's going to be huge. That could just derail this whole rally, this whole run. And I did put together an earnings preview, so make sure you check that out in terms of the bull and bear case and what I think is going to happen. And I'm quite contrarian in terms of what I think is going to happen, so you got to check that out. But then from there, you get GDP and then you get PCE. So GDP is important because we want to see is the economy contracting, is it expanding? And then PCE, is it going to be hot? Which more than likely it's going to be, because CPI and PPI were hot. It takes into consideration both of those calculations. And so, there's just a lot out there that market makers are going to be looking for. So that's why we're seeing a bit of indecision today, a little bit of choppiness. And more than likely, we're going to get the same thing Tuesday. And more than likely, we're going to get the same thing Wednesday leading into NVIDIA earnings. And then probably not until after market on Wednesday, we'll get a pronounced move. And you guys know this. There's no secret here. If NVIDIA misses or they have a poor report, things are going to get smoked. They're going to get crushed. We're going to go lower. I'm not telling you anything groundbreaking there. And if GDP is poor, if PCE is poor, there's going to be a negative impact on the market. And so we almost need like the perfect chain of events here over the next couple of days, where the data has to come in alignment with expectations, and NVIDIA has to basically just play the perfect game. They have to deliver. It has to be solid. And can they do that? There's a lot of pressure on them. But I'm not going to give it away. Go watch the video. You can see my take on NVIDIA. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at. In terms of trades that I took today, I had a winner on Google, and wasn't a full R win, but it was a modest win. I'm happy with it. And so I'm just monitoring, watching. Probably won't take a trade the rest of the day. But I did want to bring up one company that I do have a position in. And it's more of just a flyer because it's a speculative company, but it's ticker symbol RR, Richtech Robotics. They make AI robots for service projects. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Like cleaning automation, or they have robots that actually make drinks at restaurants. And they signed a big contract with one of the world's largest retailers. But what's interesting is they are not releasing the name of who this retailer is. Is it a Walmart? Is it a Costco? Is it an Amazon? And I thought that's pretty interesting. But this ticker has been trading in a range from about $1.80, and today it's up to about $2.52. And I typically don't trade penny stocks. You guys know that. But if we get the name of this company, if it is a Walmart, that could be a pretty big pop that comes out of that. So I am watching that pretty closely, pretty intently to see who that contract's with, if that information will get leaked. They have a redacted document that shows the language of this contract, but it has all the names taken out of there. So I even ran it through AI to see if it could figure it out. It can't, but interesting move there. I'm watching that. That is going to be a pretty fun outcome to see how that plays out. So I thought that was pretty cool to see that pop a little bit today. And yeah, I'm close to pulling a trigger on a bull put spread on Lulu, who's reporting earnings this week, but I can't bring myself to do it because it is in such a bearish trend, and I would be going counter trend with this move. So I'm still waiting, haven't done that yet, but man, I want to do that. And I'm still watching Adobe. I haven't set up a play there. That's one I've been watching for quite some time, but that may be a dead company because software is just in trouble as a result of AI, but who knows. But anyway, choppy day here today. First day of school for my kids, so back into routine, back into rhythm. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day, a great start to your week, and let's make it an awesome one. I'll be having a ton of content out there coming this week, so I appreciate you checking it out, and I'll see you back here for the next episode of Drip. Take care, guys, and make it a great day.